Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to continue my review of individual Beatles songs. And as you may have gathered, I've been trying to promote or discuss the slightly less well-known songs from their catalogue, album tracks, forgotten singles or whatever. Not forgotten at all by a lot of people, but I haven't picked the obvious ones. So I'm going to do a track from the White Album called I Will, which is pretty much loved by Beatles fans, but outside Beatles fan circles, I don't think it's particularly well known as a song, which is a shame, because I would say no less than I would put this in Paul McCartney's top 10 ballads of his entire career, if not his top 10 songs of all time. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the way that it is sequenced on the White Album. They famously stayed up all night to work out the track listing. Here's my mono copy, my beautiful mono copy, which has the original design, you know, with the records coming out the top, with the black covers and beautifully reproduced cards. If anything, more beautiful than the stereo, although I don't suppose there's too much difference. But I love the way that this track is posted right next to Julia at the end of side 2. So you've got, in 2 tracks, both of which last no more than a couple of minutes each, you've got Paul at his best, acoustic-wise, followed by John at his best, acoustic-wise. And they're not quite solo efforts, because I Will is quite a tight group performance from at least 3 Beatles. Julia is more of a solo effort, just John required on acoustic for that. And this track took 67 takes to perfect. And in and amongst the rehearsals for I Will, they also broke into Step Inside Love and Lost Paranoias, as can be heard on the anthology. I just want to read you Ian MacDonald's view of the song. I Will anticipates the relaxed sentimentality of McCartney's first solo album and recalls the harmonic scheme of his early ballad I'll Follow the Sun. More straightforward, it soothes the listener with its simple verse, chorus, melody and murmurous internal rhymes, brackets, close to music where the craftsmanship not so cunning, close brackets. Needing precisely the right performance from an acoustic setup which exposed the slightest error, it required a grueling 67 takes. The apparent casualness of the result is a tribute to the Beatles' concentration. Few could have managed this feat without light relief, and the session was regularly interrupted by ad-libs, including Step Inside Love, a harmonically ambitious number McCartney had just written for Cilla Black, and 2 improvisations noted respectively as Lost Paranoias and Can You Take Me Back, the second of which ended up on the album as a sinister introduction to Revolution 9. Finishing the session with his recorder overdub on Glass Onion, McCartney returned next day to add a sung bass part and soften his already dulcet lead vocal with ADT. So that's pretty complimentary by McDonald's standards. I don't think there was any place for George Harrison on this song. I'm pretty sure he wasn't featured, well, at least according to Ian MacDonald. I think it's basically Ringo and John playing kind of packing cases percussion, Paul on acoustic, maybe John on acoustic as well, but I'm pretty sure George was not involved. But George is playing along to this song in the sequence from anthology when Paul, George and Ringo were in I think it's George's garden, and he's picking out I Will during that sequence. Paul performed it live, I think on one tour, I'm thinking 2009, round about then. We should do it more often, because it's, as I say, one of his best and not difficult to perform live, I wouldn't have thought, compared to tracks like Helter Skelter and Maybe I'm Amazed. You know, he could sing the song effortlessly. It's not in too high a key or anything, I don't think. Interesting on the mono version of the White Album, the sung bass part, which is a beautiful feature of the song. Instead of Paul playing a bass guitar, he's singing the bass part. I think it's the only Beatles song he does that on. But anyway, on the mono version, that bass part starts from the very beginning, whereas on the stereo version, it comes in at the beginning of the second verse, which is a little bit of trivia for you. The White Album, as we know, a wonderful eclectic mixture of rockers, ballads, acoustic guitar picking, mystical lyrics, themes, dreams, you name it. It's got everything, that album. And I Will is one of the golden nuggets on it. And I love it to bits. I know some friends of mine over the years have said it's too sentimental. But what does that mean? Nothing wrong with silly love songs, and this isn't even silly. This is heartfelt. Probably written about Linda because he just about got together with her around about this time. And as I say, I think it's one of Paul's masterpieces, up there with the other acoustic songs on this album, Blackbird and stuff, and as good as anything he ever wrote, in my opinion. So thanks for watching. See you next time.